How do we now transition into making that positive shift towards improving our health and our well-being, please? If you could just touch on that before we quickly round up and go into our breakout rooms, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my sister, for inviting me, and I've been taking notes very furiously. I started wondering, am I a speaker in this gathering or I'm a participant? So I've taken some very copious notes, right? Okay. So my name is Abiye Hector-Goma. I'm a general practitioner at Allerton and Westfield Medical Centers in Leeds. I'm clinical director of Chapeltown Primary Care Network. Right, so a left shift towards excellent health and well-being. So it's been good listening to Nika, Cresta, Clara, and Tony. And it's good to see very good friends in the audience. Right, let's press on. So my outline is look at the concept of well-being. A lot of that has been said, so I'm going to blast through 17 slides. I'm sure I'll finish before 15 minutes anyway. Look at the spectrum of health. What are the common things which you already know about? The common things are still the most common. And then a brief talk about the left shift, and then is it do as I say or do as I do? We'll talk about that, and then kind of what do I want us to go home with after all been said and done. Right, so I look at well-being from a few concepts that well-being involves spiritual well-being. We live in a politically correct society, so particularly in the health service and elsewhere, spiritual issues are never discussed anymore. So sadly, that's one aspect of well-being which is dying. Unfortunately, in places like Nigeria, it's in overdrive, so that's a different problem altogether. Tony has very kindly talked about mental and well-being, so I won't even say anything about that. Social well-being, physical well-being, financial well-being, cultural well-being. They're like the redwood trees of California. They're all interconnected, and together they make us healthy or well. So when I say, how are you? And you say, fine, you're saying, spiritually, I'm well, mentally, I'm well, socially, I'm well, physically, I'm well, financially, I'm okay, and culturally, I'm sound. I was just thinking that if 100% is the perfect one, then every aspect of these 6 domains should have about 15%. You know, there's no point being spiritually well. Monday to Sunday, you're in the church, meanwhile you're working for government, but you spend all week in church. You are 90% spiritual, but the rest of your body, it's not doing well. So spiritual well-being, I would say give everything 15%. That comes to 90% for the 6 domains. Then you have 10% to play with. So if you're an exercise freak, you can put that 10% into physical well-being. But you cannot over-exercise and then you don't talk to anybody, you're living from overdraft to credit cards. That means that you're financially not sound. So the ideal situation of well-being is where every aspect of those 6 domains, you're doing okay. Maybe 6.5, 7, 8, 10 is excellent and all that. So let's look at well-being from that holistic point of view. You are doing okay in all those domains. You may be doing expert in some domains, but you should do okay in all 6 domains. Already, Tony, I talked about the spectrum of health is that, you know, although the World Health Organization talks about health as a state, it's not really a state, it's a dynamic thing. Yeah. We are all along the continuum, somewhere between healthy, coping, having some difficulties, being ill and going to hospital. You are going, you know, like the spectrum, you have the Roy Beeve color of the rainbow spectrum. We are somewhere, nobody is perfect. I don't think anybody can really achieve 100% health, but we are all in that spectrum. And the whole idea of this talk is that we should have a left shift going from wherever we are towards the left of wellness. The same thing goes with the mental well-being. Somebody can be requiring crisis intervention all the way to being mentally well. So from a physical point of view, the ideal body mass, they say, is between 18 and 25. Some of us will never, ever achieve that. But if my body mass is 31 today, can it be 30 in a month's time, or even 30.5 at the end of the year? Is going somewhere to the left, and that's what we are talking about. So I want to use my experience about some of these things. They say the common things are the most common. The good book says, my people perish for lack of knowledge or wisdom. And then somebody said, knowledge is knowing the right thing to do, wisdom is doing it. For the last 10, 15 years of my life, I'd slept for like 3-4 hours most days. I'm awake till maybe 2, 3, 4 a.m. most days because I'm trying to solve the problems of the world. And then in the last couple of weeks, one day I woke up and I said, one day you'll wake up and find out you're dead, because I sit on my laptop all day at work, all day, all night in my study. And I just said, your life is going away. In the last few weeks, I got myself one of those soft apps, and I can see that I'm sleeping better, 4 hours some days, occasionally 8 hours. So it's fantastic. I'm objectively seeing how well I'm sleeping. It's taking me 15 years. I had a eureka moment. I think somebody said, was it Pressa that said, when you wake up, it's your morning. So one day I woke up and I said, it's time to try and improve my sleep, because with poor sleep, I'm having ankle swelling, my blood pressure is going up, I'm irritable with my family, with my patients. And then one day I said, okay, let me do something about sleep. So watch this space, I'm sleeping better after 15 years. The next one is physical activity. I mean, I did a master's in health promotion 20 years ago. I tell people about being more active for all my life. I've been a doctor for 32 years. I tell people be more active is the best buy in public health. Physical activity has unimaginable benefits, more than anything you can think about. But what do I do? Sit down on a chair for 20 hours every day. Now, in the last couple of weeks again, I walk every day. I gave myself 10K steps and I went up to 12K steps. Sometime last year, I did couch to 5K. After a while, I fell back to being sedentary. And after a few months, I did couch to 5K again. Today, I got myself that device and I went from 10K steps every day to 12K to 15K. In the last 4 days, I did 20K and I almost have blisters on my feet. But that's also talk about it, that I got to my eureka moment and I realized that when you do something for 28 days, they say it becomes a way of life. And just going out every evening, I'm not going to spending a dime on any gym, just going out and walking is making a massive difference. I'm having time to reflect on life and making calls while walking and all that. So that's what I've been doing recently. And then healthy eating, of course, we all know that the closest way to a man's heart is his stomach. And if you're blessed with an African family and you have people that cook you down, they feed you meat, they feed you pounded yam, and you have to eat to survive. That's where love comes. So many of us African men are dying sudden deaths because we are being well fed at home. So then this American Nutritional Association came up with this plate model, which I quite like. It's quite a straightforward thing, that half of the plate should be non-starchy vegetables, half of your plate. Imagine whatever you eat, half of that plate is vegetable. Vegetables are largely water. It means that you are going to reduce the calories you eat because half of the plate is full of vegetables, which is largely water. And then 1/4 of the plate is carbohydrate. So there is no way you can put that pounded yam or eba high. It is 1/4 of the plate, and then 1/4 of the plate is protein. Now, if all of us, as those who cook, I don't want to be sexist and say, if our wives, if the men who are cooking here, all the men in this listening to me, if you're the one doing the cooking in the house, think about this concept of the plate. Half of your meal should be vegetable based, 1/4 carbohydrate based, and 1/4 protein based. And that way, your calories will reduce and you will lose weight. We'll talk about that in a moment. The next one is being money wise. I don't know if any of you have had financial problems before. If you have not had financial problems, I'm happy for you. I thank God for you. I have seen it. I've seen every aspect of financial problems you can think about. I've seen it in this country. It's not a pleasant way to be. You can have the best relationship. If you have cash flow problem, you can become depressed. Many people that have mental illness today have financial problems. Many people that have hypertension today, school fees in Nigeria, putting children in very expensive private schools, and you can't even get the money to pay the fees. It's all overwhelming. Somebody once said, earn £20, spend £19.99, you're happy. Earn £20, spend £21, you're in trouble. And so those who are money wise and learn to save and do all those kind of things, have projections, not buy iPhone 14, iPhone 15, because the latest craze in town, you buy what you need and not buy what you want. Being money wise has a massive effect on our lifestyle. The nets that we have, do they work? Already, Tony had talked about that and all the others. I won't go into much again. It's important to have nets that work. And then how is your work-family life balance? I have never had work-life balance. When I was a young doctor in Lagos, I was working morning, afternoon, night, flying Molwes in Lagos. Since I came to the UK, locum, I don't know, we carry the problems of the world on our heads. The wise people, it's just me, myself, and I. We, your uncles, aunties, everybody's problem is on your head. So you just walk around the clock. My girls have grown up. I just realized they've all grown big all of a sudden because I'm busy working. So having work-life balance is important. Now, if all those things, you have the wisdom and you do the right thing, because knowledge is knowing the right thing to do, wisdom is doing it, then you can manage stress better. Your mental well-being, your physical well-being, all those aspects of life, you can really realize that the better you are at managing stresses, then the healthier you are. Now, the root cause of most of the cardiovascular problems, most people, a lot of the sudden deaths we see has to do with heart attack. It has to do with plaque formation. This is a normal clean artery. As people grow older, from our 20s, we begin to have plaques building up in the walls of the blood vessels. And then as people grow older and older, the blood vessels get blocked. And so blood can't flow through the vessels. And that's what causes most of the problem. Now, the more active we are, the healthier we eat, it helps to clean up our blood vessels. So most problems that we have, ultimately, poor sleep leads to things. When we don't sleep well, we are stressed, we eat junk food. When we eat junk food, we build up plaques. When we don't exercise, HDL, which is good cholesterol, is reduced. LDL, which is the not so good cholesterol, is increased. It leads to more blockage of the vessels. So eating the right foods, sleeping well, being more active, all together reduces the buildup of plaques in the blood vessels, which means a less likelihood of a heart attack, less likelihood of a high blood pressure. So this is the final common pathway, is the blockage of the tiny blood vessels that supply blood to the extremities of the body. So those lifestyle things that we talk about, if we do them right, we have a left shift from clogged arteries to clean arteries. If we don't do them right, we have a right shift, and then we have problems. So the left shift then, the particle left shift is one, blood pressure. I mean, my eureka moment came. I've always been lucky. Many of my friends have been hypertensive 5-10 years ago. My blood pressure has always been good. And then suddenly a few months ago, usually my blood pressure can go up when I'm on call, but once I finish call, I get home, it's fine. And in the last few months, whether I wake up in the morning, my blood pressure has been rising steadily. And that was when I realized that it was my morning time. I had to do something about it. Now, I think 3 years ago, there was this organization that came with a weight loss thing. And I wanted to introduce it to my patients. I said, but before I bring it to my patients, let me try it and see whether it will work. And I actually did it for 3 months, and I lost about 4 or 5 kilograms. What I then realized was that my blood pressure, I was pre-diabetic, my blood pressure and sugar levels just crashed. People say a lot of things, but I just know from my experience, and even on a lot of my patients, when you lose weight, it has massive benefits, both physical, mental. Right, I have 2 minutes to go, so let me just press on. So blood pressure reduction, weight reduction, cholesterol reduction, reduction in food portion, tummy size reduction, that weight around the belly button, blood sugar reduction, heart rate reduction, spending less time seated on our bums. All these things are the left shift, which I'm hoping that we'll be encouraged to do. So knowledge, we all have the knowledge. Doctors know that smoking causes cancer. Everybody knows that smoking causes cancer. People still smoke. So knowledge itself alone does not change behavior. It's like buying a car is a knowledge. If you now have an instructor teach you to drive the car, you've got the skills. But now you've learned to drive, you've got a driving license, take that car and go to the motorway and go and drive on the motorway. That is the confidence. And that's what the left shift is all about. Have the knowledge, learn the skills, and then have the confidence to do the right things. I want to end with this quote. I think this quote, I had to add it to my slides a few minutes while Clara was speaking. I talk about the shine factor, and I just like this. The first time I heard this quote was during when I watched Coach Carter, that film, Coach Carter, and he said, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Thank you for listening. And those are the to-do lists. And I hope that we have excellent rest of the evening. Abiye, thank you so much for asking me to come along.